A website address that starts with www is so common that we often ignore those three letters or look right past them. But for a long time, cyber squatters have found a way to confuse internet users by combining www with the domain name in a way that tricks some people into visiting an unintended website. Hi, it's Doug Eisenberg, and the UDRP case that I'm talking about today was filed by Carvana, the online car selling platform that owns rights in the trademark of the same name. Its website uses the domain name carvana.com, but in this case, a clever cyber squatter registered the domain name www.carvana.com. If that sounds confusing, let me explain. As I talked about in the first video in my masterclass series on domain name disputes, a domain name typically consists of two parts. The first part is a top-level domain, or TLD, such as .com, but there are literally over 1,000 others, such as .net and .org, country codes such as .uk and .fr, and new TLDs such as .top and .law, which I use for my GigLaw website. The second part of every domain name is what's called the second-level domain, which are the characters to the immediate left of the dot, such as Carvana. Anybody, including trademark owners and cyber squatters, can register a second-level domain on a first-come, first-served basis in many of the top-level domains. Now, in the early days of the World Wide Web in the mid-1990s, it became common practice for companies to include a third-level domain to make clear that an internet address, or URL, a Uniform Resource Locator, actually identified a website, which is why we usually see the letters www, an abbreviation for World Wide Web, to the left of the second-level domain, separated by a dot, just like the second-level domain is always separated from the top-level domain by a dot. So that's why Carvana's website address includes www to create the URL www.carvana.com. Not because those three letters at the beginning are technically required, but just because that's what many consumers expect to see and what they often type when entering a website address in a browser such as Google Chrome or Apple's Safari. And that's exactly how the cyber squatter in the Carvana case tried to take advantage of the Carvana trademark and trick internet users. The cyber squatter registered the domain name www.carvana.com, which is identical to Carvana's carvana.com domain name, except that it includes the letters www as part of the second-level domain name itself. So, just to be clear, www.carvana.com looks like www.carvana.com, but it is not the same thing. And in the Carvana case, according to the UDRP decision, the cyber squatter used the domain name in connection with a pay-per-click or PPC website with links to third-party websites that directly competed with Carvana. And as a result, an internet user who tried to visit the Carvana website and mistakenly omitted a single dot between www and Carvana would have ended up at the wrong website, which was a website that might lead the internet user to a competitor of Carvana. Now, the cyber squatter in this case was certainly not the first to take advantage of this trick. As of this recording, I actually have two pending cases that I filed on behalf of my trademark clients under the UDRP against cyber squatters doing the same thing. And more than 600 cases through the years just at WIPO include domain names with www in them, targeting trademark owners in every possible industry, such as www.ziprecruiter.com, www.fitbit.com, www-marlboro.com, www.wayfair.com, and www.cartier.com, just to name a few. This trick of using www is also quite similar to another trick using HTTP or HTTPS as I discussed in a previous UDRP case study video. Fortunately, the UDRP is well equipped to deal with this issue, which usually raises two important questions. First, is a domain name containing www plus a trademark confusingly similar to the trademark? And second, is registering and using this type of domain name something that constitutes bad faith under the UDRP? In the Carvana case, the answer to both questions was yes. On the issue of confusing similarity, the UDRP panel wrote, in this case, the domain name contains the complainant's trademark in its entirety, together with the prefix www. It is well established that domain names, which consist of a common, obvious, or intentional misspelling of a trademark, is considered to be confusingly similar to the mark for the purposes of the first element. This stems from the fact that the domain name contains sufficiently recognizable aspects of the relevant mark. This is a typical typo squatting case, as the domain name is clearly a misspelling of the trademark to incorporate the common www host name of a URL. And on the issue of bad faith, the UDRP panel wrote, the domain name is likely to confuse internet users trying to find the complainant's official website. Such confusion will inevitably result due to the incorporation of the trademark as the most prominent element of the domain name with the prefix of www, which is a typical ploy of cyber squatters, since all it takes is for an internet user to inadvertently miss out the full stop between www and Carvana when intending to type in the complainant's web address to arrive at the website. The respondent employs the fame of the trademark to mislead users into visiting the website instead of complainants. The decision in this case is quite similar to decisions in other UDRP cases involving the same trick of registering a domain name that contains www plus a trademark, which means that fortunately, the UDRP is a very useful tool for trademark owners to deal with this very common, but also very deceptive type of cyber squatting. The trademark owner's best approach is to be proactive and register these types of domain names before a cyber squatter does the same thing. But if it's too late to do that, then the next best thing to prevent customer fraud, to stop brand dilution, and to put an end to other types of damaging activity is to consider filing a complaint under the UDRP. If you want to learn more about the UDRP, please check out my masterclass on domain name disputes, as well as other resources on my Gigalaw website. And be sure to subscribe to the Gigalaw YouTube channel to be notified of future videos discussing other UDRP cases. Thanks for watching, and see you next time online.